Hello everyone, I'm Little McGriddle and welcome back to Zombie Exodus Safe Haven. Welcome, this is part 2 and we are currently in the east side of Nightfall, apparently. And that's a bad place to see my face. There you go. You know what, it'll just keep me in the top corner there. Anyway, we're just going to continue on with the game. Friday, May 11th, 2012. The east side of Nightfall sits at the top of a valley and rests along the western banks of the Colorado River. In the 1970s, work started on a great Air Force base where military planes would be forged and repaired. Work halted in the 80s when Milford Powell Construction mismanaged U.S. Air Force funds, plunging the project into delays, which inevitably found them in Superior Court and pulled from further effort. The base fell into disrepair and more legal woes kept construction from resuming. In 1994, the land was sold back to the country for pennies on the dollar, and developers hustled in to grab land. Middle-income housing sprouted across the area and a massive expansion, though most were modular homes slapped together and sold at decent profits. By the middle of the next decade, many homes were falling apart, streets were caving, and people sold off their properties to relocate to other parts of Nightfall, or across the river in desirable Chipper Ridge. Since that time, East Nightfall stands as a soulless vessel of a once thriving sector of a booming city, a vagabond town, and abandoned and depressed. Well, soulless vessel of once thriving. Sounds like me. Just kidding. But the rent is cheap and travel to Nightfall College consists of a quick bus ride down 15th Street. Same here, but you know what? I literally only have to walk like maybe 20 steps and I'm near at the college. Not so far. Anyway, moving on. You meet John on the corner of Dilapidated and Drab. The street names that should have been used when this intersection was built. The street houses a wide row of duplexes, all weather-worn red brick. Across the street, a post office takes up most of the real estate, with a chain-link wrapped parking lot positioned next to it. Next to that, a sizable dinner boasts the best breakfast in town and their signature sandwich, the Big Sloppy. Yep, that sounds right. Okay. Hey, Chloe, you hear from across the street. A middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair screws in front of a taxi. You've got a red light, jerk, he yells to the cab driver. Oh, wow. You holler a choice swear word at the speeding taxi. By the time John crosses the street, he wears a smile. Hey there, I'm John. Thanks for meeting me today. Ready to check out the apartment? Good to meet you. Sure, let's go. The two of you step into the apartment building and ascend the dust and dirt-covered narrow staircase to a second-floor landing. So you're going to Nightfall College, huh? What's your major? Computer science. I'm actually going into computer science in September, so this looks pretty similar. You know, I'm totally going to go with computer science. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with computer science. Oh, so you're a computer whiz, John said with interest. Maybe you can hack into my ex-wife's bank account and steal back some of my alimony. Okay, here we are. Oh, John, for real? No. Even though she's your ex-wife, I would not hack into her bank account. No way in hell. Sorry, sir. Apartment 2B sits right off the main hall, and John escorts you into the small, dimly lit space. He flips a wall switch and an overhead yellow light illuminates the room. To the right, here is a bathroom with a walk-in shower. You have an efficiency stove sink refrigerator combo. Oh, okay then. Efficiency? What, like it only gives you a certain amount of hot water and heat? That is pretty efficient. While small the room has a quaint feel, and you mentally place a bed along the back wall, television stand and bookshelf on the other wall, maybe a small table and chairs close to the stove. You cross the room and peer outside to the busy street below. Cracking the window, you let in some cool air and the sounds of the city. Down the street, a man hobbles along the pavement, staggering toward the street until he bumps into a parked car. His clothes are clean but torn and ragged. A waxy and pocked beard covers his face. Okay. So, $500 a month. Sound about right? John asks. Sure. There's another way, John says, and steps next to you with a slight smile. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. I represent the building's owner. I'm sure I can drop him down to $450 a month if you were to give me, say, $75. You'll save $275. You'll save $225 on a 6-month lease. What? I'm sorry, but no. You know what? Screw that. I am not doing that, man. I'm sure I'll get caught if I do something illegal too, so I told John thanks, but I'll just pay the $500 per month. I don't agree with bribes, and tell John. Oh, that's the same thing. You know what? I'll just say I don't agree with bribes. John rolls his eyes and sighs. Fine. Make it out to Holt Real Estate. HOLT''S. Do you have a pen? I'll fill out the check. Tires screech outside, drawing your attention to another taxi swerving around the corner. The bearded man sways into the street, legs straight, body off balance, and staggers into the path of the oncoming car. The taxi brakes, tires squealing, and the vehicle turns at a sharp angle in the last moment. The bearded man hits the front of the cab, hip first. Launching over the hood, his face hits the windshield. And he careens above the car, striking in several places, and like a gymnast twists in the air and lands on the ground. Good God, man, what? Holy Jesus, John stammers and throws the window open. The driver runs out of the cab and the downed man, yelling something in a foreign language. The bearded man sits up and cranes his head sideways. Blood covers his face and his right arm folds back in at an odd angle. He rolls up and pushes off the ground with both hands. The excited cab driver bounces around the bearded man and hooks him up under the arm to help him up. How is he standing? Oh, crap, he tells John and points outside. He was a zombo. Should have guessed it. The bearded man lunges his head forward and latches onto the cab driver's neck like a hyena on its prey. Blood spurts out in a long spray, and the cabbie flails and strikes the bearded man, who continues his assault. From across the street, a tall teenager, not much younger than you, rushes to the entangled pair and grabs the bearded man by the back of the sweater, yanking him away. A swatch of skin, long and frayed, hangs from the bearded man's mouth. It drops to the road, and he launches toward the teenager, who swings with wild fists and smashes the bearded attacker, who keeps moving forward. The cab driver lies in the street, convulsing, blood spreading in a dark pool. You hear a crash at the intersection. 2 cars collide, fender to fender, front ends buckling from the impact. Sandwiched between the 2 cars, a dark-skinned woman claws at the hood of the red convertible sports car. No, that good car, no. Anyway, the male driver reverses the car, and the woman climbs over the hood like a spider, dragging 2 broken and crushed back legs. She flings herself over the window and bites the driver, holding him down as she rips and tears. Oh, God, it's horrible. We gotta get out of here, John stammers and breaks for the door. By the time you leave, the street has been plunged into chaos. A pile of cars along the street, people running and screaming in all directions, gunshots ringing out and sirens blaring in the distance. You see no sign of the bearded man, but the injured cab driver lies in the street, bathed in blood. His skin appears yellowed like the tone of the bearded man, and his legs twitch like they move to an unknown beat. What the hell is going on? Gotta get out of here. My car, John states, and steps to the edge of the curb toward a parked silver sedan. The cabbie sits up in the street and turns in the direction of you and John. His mouth widens to an unnatural size like a snake unhinging its jaw to devour a large meal. The cabbie's teeth, long and serrated, drip a vicious clear green ooze. He plants his hands and draws his body up, and his eyes fixed upon John, who fumbles to dial his mobile phone and isn't paying attention to the cabbie hobbling over. Knock the cabbie down, figure out a way to restrain him, distract the zombie to let John escape. Can we just leave John? I don't know. Oh, that would be awful. But, it's, you gotta survive in this hellish world. I don't know. I'm gonna run. I'm running. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna escape. Sorry, John. I'm terribly sorry. He cannot help but stare at the cabbie as he runs. His face is changed, swollen, misshapen, elongated. His tongue, long and rubbery, rolls out of his mouth, and he grunts and moans as if devoid of human thought. While his attention is on John, you take the opportunity to leave the scene. Though it may not be the moral decision to leave John, your goal is self-preservation. You run to the end of the block and turn up 15th Street. Snow falls again, wetting the ground. All along the avenue, cars line up in a jagged row of mangled wreckages, and people run along the sidewalks in panic. And some of these people appear like the bearded man, fiendishly changed versions of humans, faces twisted, bodies rigid like images of long-dead corpses. You run to your bike and unchain it from the telephone pole, surrounded by screams, blaring horns, and an unending stream of police sirens. You jump on your bike and tear down 15th Street in the direction of home. Because it's a good idea to go home. You could probably already be hell there as well. Yay. Next chapter. This game is actually getting so good. Oh, no, that wasn't the next chapter. That was the prologue. We're just getting into the good juicy bits. Excellent. Chapter 1. Outbreak Day 0. Your hands shake as you close the door and cross to the center of your home. The things you've already seen, the infected, their victims, the chaos, all rattle your nerves and have you asking too many questions with no immediate answers. How do I stay safe? What do I do now? When will this end? You feel like you're sitting next to a time bomb, and at any moment, sounds outside, hurried footsteps, a gunshot, a growl. You creep along the wall and lean to the side, peeking through the edge of a window. An older man runs across the street near the front of your house, chased by a woman, long hair covering her head like a flowing hood. She hobbles diagonally, torso twisted off center from her legs, and her arms rise and fall with each gallop. The old man turns and fires a revolver, misses, then races around the corner of a nearby house. The woman follows, unfazed by the gunshot. You wonder if Parker, your neighbor, is home. He's smart and works for the city, though it's just a job at the museum. Maybe he knows what's going on, or maybe Vincent's home. He lives across the street and has been quite friendly in passing conversation. He keeps to himself, so you know little about the man, other than he teaches at a high school outside Nightfall. He has a distinct air of being capable, and you have a gut feeling he'd know what to do in this situation. You wonder if your neighbors, Taylors, are home. Bud and Nancy Taylor run a produce farm along with their daughter, Billy. They sent out over a bushel of beets 2 weeks ago and always look after your house when you're away. So you wonder how they're faring at the first day of the outbreak. It's quiet outside. Too quiet. You know the infected are out there, roaming, hunting. How do I ensure my safety? What is the government doing to stop the spread of infection? Oh, the government's working on spreading the infection instead of preventing it. They don't give a shit. So many questions, nowhere to turn for straight answers. Your mind races as you try to figure out what to do next. Check my gear. Check online for news on the viral outbreak. Check TV. Wait, we can craft items? Oh my god, that is awesome. We were never actually able to craft items in the last game. Yeah, of course, look at that. Take my mind off the outbreak by playing video games. Take my mind off the outbreak by reading a book. Yep, that would make sense. Totally me. Oblivious to the world, just put my nose in a book and everything will be fine. You know what? We're gonna go read a book. You head to a quiet place with a book you started a few weeks ago but never finished. Oh, we get to choose? Well, what is this? Ashley Hopper and the Translucent Mirror, 5th book in a series about adolescent girls' mystical powers. Oh, that sounds like a good book. Fire in the Barn, romantic tale of two lovers brought together when they meet in a barn during a rainstorm. Ooh, I get why it's called Fire in the Barn. Oh. Compendium to the Tales of Unliving Walkers. Graphic novel set at the end of a long apocalypse. Planet Battles, a sci-fi thriller about the war between 6 factions of aliens all looking to take over the Earth. I love me some books about aliens and sci-fi. I'm totally going to read that. You turn into the middle of the book and let yourself slip back into the story, and though the sounds of the country try to distract you, and gunshots and a passing helicopter jerk your head away, you're able to enjoy reading. After an hour of reading, you close the book. Hey, excellent! That's awesome. You check the time. 1:30 p.m. You know what? No, we should just call our neighbor Parker. You search through your contacts in your smartphone and spot a number for Parker. You dial, half expecting the line to be dead, but you hear a dial tone. As you dial, you wonder if anyone will answer. You haven't spoken to Parker in a few days, and now is a good time to check on your neighbor. The phone rings 6 times with no answer. Then voicemail clicks on. You leave a message for Parker asking him to call back anytime. Is he dead? He's so gonna be dead. Okay, now what? Check online for news, government's response. You know what? I want to craft an item. That sounds like fun. You craft animal trap, explosives, medical items, melee weapons. Okay. You know what? Maybe we'll craft some melee weapon. Or maybe, yeah, craft melee weapons. You make nothing. We can't make anything. Aw, well then. Okay, can we make ammunition? Wow, you're kidding. We can't even do anything. Yes, can we craft explosives or anything? Wow, we can't. What about medical items? Wow, you know what? We're not crafting an item at all. Gonna have a meal. Gonna cook us some food. Your stomach churns and throat feels dry, so you head into the kitchen for a quick meal. You haven't eaten since the morning and need to get some fuel into your body. Having a well-stocked kitchen means you have a wide range of food. You're not sure how long it will last, and have no idea when, where, or how you'll restock. Will grocery stores be open tomorrow? Being an excellent cook, you know how to stretch out your meals. Considering you have 20 meals worth of food. You know what? No, make a satisfying normal-sized meal, because we don't need to fill ourselves up to the brim. Since the food in the house might have to last for several days at least, you decide to make a regular meal despite your overwhelming hunger. With your cooking skills, you're able to combine ingredients and construct a meal that provides an abundance of nutrition. You ready the meal in less time than normal too. After the meal, you consider your next move. Now what? What do we do? Oh boy, it's 2:00 p.m. You know what? Maybe we should call Vince. I have no idea. Yeah, we'll call Vince. The phone rings. Well, okay. No one's answering their phones. Okay, we're just gonna check our gear. Okay, you walk over to your pile of gear and check your inventory. You have the following items. Food 16, laptops 1, smartphone, water, primary weapon, secondary weapon, armor none. Wow, we suck. I am finished with checking. You know what? I think we should board up our home, just to be safe. You survey the house. Everything is in good shape so far, with nothing broken and all intact and able to withstand light damage or force. You collect tools and wooden nails from the basement and set out to secure the home as fast as possible given the imminent dangers lurking outside. You have a fair understanding of carpentry and home repair, and you know that now is the time to put your knowledge to the test. First, you cover the door with the thickest boards you can find and reinforce them with 2x4s, a few feet apart using bolts and screws. You fasten boards over the windows as well, anchoring them to the wall with a masonry bit and wood screws. The whole process takes just 45 minutes, thanks to your tools and know-how. You feel somewhat worn from the effort, but at least the house is in better shape than before. Okay, good, Ray, fantastic. It's 3:30 p.m. The day is going by so slowly. Maybe we'll check online for some news, and then we'll go to sleep. No, we can't go to sleep. Fantastic, okay. You sit at the desk in the living room and open your laptop. The internet still runs without a delay, and the instant you load the browser, a message flashes. News on Zeta virus. Clicking the link loads a page of websites related to the outbreak. Read the Center for Disease Control. You click the link to the CDC and find a press release related to the virus. For immediate release, May 11, 2012. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention urges people to take steps to prevent Zeta virus infections. Outbreaks of the disease have been documented in the United States with greater activity in densely populated areas. Thus far, 10 states and with 2 United States territories have reported Zeta virus infections in people. The total number of cases has reached over 10,000, all leading to a death-like state. The Zeta virus is transmitted by person-to-person contact, either by blood or saliva. It is clear we are seeing 100% infection rates with the virus, said Lucas Dodson, MD, MPH, medical epidemiologist with the CDC's Viral Disease Division. We cannot stress enough the importance of avoiding contact with infected people. The best approaches for preventing infection, including the following: avoid highly populated areas such as hospitals, supermarkets, and other places where people congregate. Stay indoors and secure the area from your entry. Know the symptoms of infection: yellowing of the skin, green birthmark-like lesions, aggressive behavior, imbalanced gait. There are no medications to treat or vaccines to prevent Zeta virus infection. People exposed may appear normal for up to an hour before symptoms show, but no known prevention of full-blown infection exists. In the event someone you know becomes infected, quarantine the individual away from non-infected people and avoid contact at all times. Oh boy, that's enough internet for one day. You close down your browser and consider your next move. Fill for water bottles for later use. Having well water sure comes in handy when other parts of Nightfall are running dry. You spend a few minutes filling a dozen water bottles. Bottles of water, the other way around. You check the time. It's 4 p.m. As you look around the living room, you realize your supplies and gear are scattered around the house. It's time to gather everything up and inventory your resources. Searching through the entire house, you gather a variety of useful things. A backpack, a knife, toiletries, 2 bars of soap, half a bottle of shampoo, half a tub of toothpaste. Extra blankets, a bottle with some whiskey in it. Ah, good old whiskey, can't forget that. A hammer, nails, and some wood, along with a half-full bottle of painkillers. Being out in the country, you have the advantage of well water on your property, so you're not too worried about running out. In a closet in the living room, you find a GPS and flashlight with a pack of batteries. You create a pile on the first floor so everything is accessible when needed. After the initial search, you move through the house more carefully and collect anything else that might be of use. From storage, you take a shovel, you head upstairs, and in your bedroom you find a CB radio. You almost forgot you had one. Though you have cooking knives, you also bought a stainless steel cleaver at a trade show. Surely it could come in handy. Also, you add your own set of portable cookware to your inventory. You might gather all of your crafting tools and add them to the pile. Your neighbor asks you to work on his old Ford truck's engine, so you brought all of your mechanical tools out of storage recently. In the medicine cabinet, you find an unopened first aid kit and 5 bandages. As you finish searching the house, you remember buying a few supplies for a camping trip you were hoping to take. Oh my god, fishing! We could go fishing! Yay, that's useful. Compound bow, crossbow, folding fishing pole and tackle box, fire starter kit, canteen, water purifying tablets, sleeping bag, 2-person camping tent, waterproof tarp. Oh, wow. That's awesome. You know what? Take the crossbow. Crossbows offer several advantages over regular bows in that they shoot farther, hold more tension, and allow the patient hunter time to plan shots with the bow drawn back. Reload time is longer with a crossbow, though. Yeah, and that could be a problem. Then we'll take the bow. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, we'll take the bow. Next you choose... We'll choose the canteen and water purifying tablets. Canteen contains a water filtering head, though the extra pack of purifying tablets help disinfect the water as well. Yep, yeah, we have that. Okay, take the foldable fishing pole and tackle box. The fishing pole's compact design allows for easy storage, and you'll never be hard-pressed to find a rich source of fish in Colorado's streams and rivers. Yes, we're totally going to take that. You wonder if you should have filled your prescription for your condition. You doubt you'll need it anyway, as you haven't hallucinated in weeks and felt your doctor overreacted by prescribing them in the first place. Oh yeah, I forgot about our condition. Wow, I feel silly. Having searched the house high and low, you stack all the supplies in the corner of the living room and then consider how to arm yourself. As your primary weapon, you choose the... Oh my god. We can kill them with our bare hands. No, I'm kidding. We won't do that. Well, I'm totally going to choose the cleaver. As your backup weapon, you choose the compound bow. You check the time at 5 p.m. You pass a side window and catch an odd ray of light through the cracks in the boards. You peek outside and spot someone across the main road eyeing your house. The man is holding a large umbrella over his head, and with the other hand he raises binoculars. Instinctively you crouch down. Could he have spotted me? You wonder. You grab a thick blanket from the downstairs closet and hang it across the window, tacking it up so no one can see in. Darkness falls across the room now that the natural light has been cut off, but the strange man can't see in. Have a drink of alcohol? Sure. Totally need a drink of whiskey right now. You pour the alcohol into a glass and take a sip. The room temperature liquid coats the back of your throat and warms the way down to your stomach. The next taste goes down smoother, and before long the glass is empty. A cool fog lifts around your mind. Not enough to dull your senses, but the pressures of the day float to the side and leave you in a moment of calmness. You check the time. It's still 5 p.m. Time doesn't move here. Maybe we'll rest for a while. You've already tried, so resting for a few minutes seems like a reasonable course of action. Or you're already tired. I read that as tried. Pardon me. You sit on the couch and close your eyes. Just as your eyes close, images of the day's events flicker through your mind. The infected, the chaos, the death. What is being done to stop this virus? Will we ever be safe again? How will we survive? In the haze of your half-asleep mind, you think of your family and friends, your school, your life. Though you hope this apocalypse was just a dream, when you awake you'll know the truth, and it's out there, waiting and hungry. Yes, it totally is. You check the time, it's 6 o'clock p.m. Just then the front door rattles, and you spin to face it just as the pounding starts. Oh, it's a zombie. Oh, we're zombos. Oh, I knew this day would come. An inhuman growl calls out through the door as long. Solid thuds shake the doorframe. A slender figure hobbles across your back field. A man dressed in overalls and work boots. His arm hangs by his side but bow outward, and his legs twitch as they take each step. When he turns toward the front of the house, you see the real signs of infection. The yellow skin, the green marks, the fogged-over eyes with dark pupils flitting around like goldfish in a cloudy bowl. Brown strands of drool waver from his mouth to his chin, and for some reason, whether coincidence or hidden sense, he looks at your front door as if he knows something lives behind it. He climbs the stairs and stops at the front door, eyes fixed forward and head tilted to the side. Hey, shut up, farmer zombie. There's no one here. Shut up. You don't know we're here. Kill him. Kill him dead. The zombie stands at your front door, his eyes searching for a way in. He's not going anywhere and needs to be put out of his unliving misery. You consider your weapons cleaver and compound bow. Use these weapons. Use them. You unlock the door and remove the wood you laid against the frame. As the door swings open, you retreat a few steps. You raise the cleaver. You've never swung this weapon at a human before with as much purpose. The weapon feels heavy, your muscles tense. The target moves in an erratic pattern, your pulse quickens and its mouth goes dry. Sweat wets your palms, but you hold the cleaver steady. You know this means everything. The zombie lumbers forward, cranes his mouth wide and lifts his hand. Strands of thick saliva connect his top and bottom rows of teeth, and a long tongue darts out of his mouth like a hissing snake. The tip of the cleaver splits the zombie's neck, a thick line of blood shooting out of the wound. A bone juts through their throat and he spins in a semicircle from the force of the impact. Blood dribbles from the wound down to his torso and his eyes focus upon you. How the hell is he still standing? Well, maybe since the last time we were here, the zombies got more invincible. If that's the case, we're all screwed. The zombie lunges and you swing again. The weapon slashes through the flesh of his chest and he jerks backward. His eyes never leave their target and his hands reach out to grab you, teeth gnashing. You bring the cleaver down on his wrist, hacking the long bone. The blow knocks his arm away, but he keeps coming unfazed. You sidestep his next attack and swing over and over again. No cut, no injury. Seems to no matter. And your arms grow tired from the constant effort. At one point you dodge an attack and trip and fall and feel sudden sharp pressure over your ribs. You struggle to rise and evade his teeth from snapping on your face. Finally, one slash cleaves his skull, and his head lolls aside and body seizes up. His legs stiffen, but his arms go limp like a falling tree. He teeters to the side and crashes to the ground. Now you see your problem? You gotta hit the zombie in the head, exactly in the brain first, and then, bam, he's down, and he's dead for good. It was just, honestly, that was a waste of time. Hacking his wrist and his head and his arm and all that. You should have just went straight for the head and the brain. You sit beside the dead zombie. A foul smell seeps from the creature, more rank than when it was still alive. What is alive? Are zombies living? Yes, they're living dead. You find a sheet of plastic in storage and roll the body up. And when you die, technically, you'll be turning into a living dead girl. You don't think about the task, which is work to clean the blood and drag the body outside. The details blur and you don't think of what you're doing until it's over. Your side hurts, so you lift your shirt and spot a sizable gash along your ribcage. It seems to have stopped bleeding, but needs to be treated and bandaged. You wash your hands and face and change your clothes. Thinking of what just happened, you feel upset, taking a life. The man was infected, but he was still a man. Intrigued, there's any way to use the outbreak to my advantage. Excited to use my skills and knowledge to survive. Glad society is falling. Embrace anarchy and the freedom to do what I want. Oh, totally anarchy, man. Yeah. Society has been breaking down for a long time, but the outbreak pushed it over the edge. With people returning from the dead, hell has come to Earth. Soon, governments will fall, the police and military will disband or devolve into militias, and civilization will crumble. And my English will fail me in the future. Finally, you'll have the freedom to do whatever you want. Survival of the fittest is the new way of life. Time passes and you know the outbreak won't wait while you contemplate the threat of the infected. You check the time, it's 6:45 p.m. Your parents haven't called to check on you since they left for vacation. They left last week for West Palm Beach to stay with their friends from college. And they asked you to watch over the house and not throw any parties. With the chaos caused by the outbreak, they may not have had a chance to call. When you think about it, your relationship with your parents is... You guys are seriously oblivious. You don't know about the zombie apocalypse. Fine, they act like typical parents. Complicated, do I love them? Yes, but a relationship is hard to describe. Strained, can't wait to move out and eventually graduate and gain financial independence. Distant, we were close when I was younger, but as I got older, we drifted apart. Difficult, they give me a place to live, but I feel like an orphan. I feel like that sometimes. I know I shouldn't. That is just absolutely awful to say. It's just, you get the feeling like that. Gonna just say distant. Your parents don't have a real relationship with you anymore, but you're surprised they haven't called to check up. Even if they did to see how the house is doing, you stare down at your phone. You call them and just get it over with. Just call them. You dial your father first. He bought a belt clip that resembles a device from an old 60s sci-fi show, so he never goes anywhere without his phone. On the first ring, a message tells you that the line has been disconnected. Well, shit. You dial your mother's phone, the line rings and rings. You redial and the line rings and rings. You hang up and slam your fist into a wall. Pain explodes in your hand and your mind turns from anger to worry. You hold your hand and dance around the room, shaking your injured limb. As the pain subsides, you glance down at the red knuckles and bruised fingers. You really need to keep up your anger in check. You redial and nothing happens for an unbearable 5 minutes, and then the call connects. Hello? Who is this? It's a man's voice you've never heard before. Who's this? I'm calling my mother's phone. Who the hell? She's dead. I'm sorry, I found the phone on a dead woman. You begin to say, but the call disconnects. You hang up, the room spins, and you feel dizzy. Is it true? Is your mother gone? And what of your father? Are your parents truly dead? Too many possibilities float inside your head. The phone could have been stolen. Your mother could have given the phone to someone else. You don't want to believe that man on the line. You can't believe him, at least for now. You check the time. I don't know, man. We're gonna play some video games. With the electricity still working, you breathe a sigh of relief when your Laser Station 1 console turns on. It's not hard to lose yourself in a video game. That's exactly what you need. A distraction from the outbreak. Your fingers flip through the game cases, and you settle upon Dark Souls, Carnival Sandbox, Grumpy's Quest. Motor vehicle theft. I feel like that's a reference to Grand Theft Auto. No idea. Why would I think that? Empty Souls 2, Born in Blood. A first-person online shooter based on a fantasy world where you play a classic movie monster. Oh, hell yeah. You know what? We're gonna go with that. Though you could play it all day, you spend an uninterrupted hour and enjoy the mindless break from life. Oh, hey, come on now. One just doesn't play a video game for an hour. You check the time and it's 8 o'clock a.m. Hey, hang on, what? A commotion from outside draws your attention to the front window. It's tough to see through the boards covering the glass, but you find a hole. A sizable group of your neighbors are crowding the curb outside a home in the middle of the block. From the first floor window, a tall, older man, thick gray and black beard, leans out and yells at the people gathered. Shouts are exchanged back and forth between the crowd and the old man. Send him outside! He's infected! Bring him here! You recognize the older man as Sam Makarov. He retired firefighter who lives with his teenage son, Peter. They moved in 2 years ago. And though you've exchanged a good morning here and there, neither have been approachable. Among the crowd are mainly strangers, some holding long sticks and one has a baseball bat over his shoulder. In the back is Mrs. Ortega, a middle-aged woman who lives around the corner. Next to her stands Tommy Monroe, who must be home from college. He was going to Nightfall University for a while, and you even shared an English course, but he transferred last year to the University of Colorado. Wonderful, man, I miss you. You should come back to Nightfall. As you stare out the window, you notice the crowd is getting more and more riled, and Mr. Makarov slams the window shut and pulls his shade down. Through the edge of the blind peek two hands in the shadow of a head, but they quickly disappear. Instead of anyone in the mob leaving, a few people bang on the front door, then a bottle flies and shatters against the brick wall. A woman in the front of the pack seems to leave them as she points at the door and rallies the crowd. You know what? We're gonna go approach the crowd and see what's going on. You can't stay inside while all of the action's out there. What if the crowd turns violent and it becomes a riot which threatens your home? And why is the crowd interested in the Makarovs? I'm getting flashbacks. I'm getting reminded of Fairy Tail, you know. Master Makarov? Mr. Makarov? I could be wrong, but, you know, Fairy Tail. High five if you're getting my references, by the way. Where are we now? Heading over is the only way to find out. You leave your home and rush down the street towards the crowd. As you approach, Mrs. Ortega steps up to greet you. Hello, Chloe. Do you believe this? An infected person in our neighborhood. Oh my, the horror, really? Oh, that's a tragedy. You can barely hear over the noise of the crowd, and her Spanish accent seems more pronounced as she yells. Isn't that Mr. Makarov's house? You say, standing tall to see over the heads of the mob. Yes, his son has the virus. The people are here keep telling him to take his son to the hospital, that it's dangerous, but he won't listen. Do you know Kelly? She's in charge. Mrs. Ortega points at the front of the crowd and you spot Kelly Klein, who's holding a stick in her hand, waving at the Makarov house. You've never met her before, but you've seen her segment on the local news when she reviews hipster restaurants and music venues. As you speak with Mrs. Ortega, Tommy steps up to greet you. He wraps his arms around you for a quick moment. Hey, remember me? Yeah, I know. Yes, I totally do. Hi, Tommy. Of course I remember you. You say and glance around at the crowd, which seems to have added even more people since you left your house. This is some crowd. Mrs. Ortega leans in close to speak over the noise of the crowd. I'm going now. Be safe. Can you believe this? Tommy says, catching your attention once more. Zombies and infected people. This is crazy. He drags out crazy for emphasis, though you can barely hear him over the crowd. So, do you think there's an infected person in there? In Mr. Makarov's house, you ask? That's the word on the street. I never met Mr. Makarov or his son. I'm a bit older than Peter. You're around the same age. You must have met him at some point. Before you can answer, someone bumps your back, pushing you into Tommy chants of, bring him out. Repeat over and over again, like cheers at a football game. Standing among dozens of agitated people has you on edge, and you keep watch for any sudden movements or hints that this mob is turning violent. It's too crowded here. Let's move up. There's someone you should meet, Tommy shouts. Come with me. Oh, okay. I mean, for now, I don't want to come with you, so I just want to stay here and just leave this episode here for now. This game is freaking great and amazing. It's turning out very well, and I am looking forward to continuing playing this game, and I hope you're having a good time with this game as well. Even though it's just me reading a bunch of words, you guys seem to enjoy the first game I did, so I hope you enjoy the second one just as much as I am, and I'm excited to be recording videos for this game because I absolutely love it. For now, I'm going to end it here, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Stay awesome. Bye.